To access Publisher Preferences, click on the Publisher tab. But it's at this point we should mention to you that you should not be changing any of the Publisher Preferences without first consulting with your production center. Let's first look at plans, and first one we'll look at is individual plans. Individual plans are the most widely used throughout your ordering process. A name is optional for individual plan. You have to specify the ad type, display your text, whether it's a single or double, whether it's a weekly, term, or continuous plan, whether it's a default plan, and then you have to provide number of weeks you're going to offer, what the rate's going to be, and its appearance order. A less common type of plan would be a group whole plan. This would be where if you're trying to sell space in a number of editions at a low rate, and it's not going to be guaranteed that's going to make the edition. The key for a whole group plan is to specify the number of editions and the edition group that the rate will apply to. The next type of plan is the group step plans. A group step plan is another way of winning business from an advertiser who may not otherwise become an advertiser. So what does this mean? Well, here in this case, we have a rate that has 2 editions for 2 weeks. Another one, 2 editions for 4 weeks for a certain rate. Another one, 3 editions for 4 weeks at a certain rate, and so on. Now we'll move on to plan discounts. Plans are the list prices, and so you may want to offer various discounts. They can be one of two. They can be named offers, or they can be discretionary. Take a note of what group the discount is in. Discounts of the same group are mutually exclusive. That meaning if you offer one, the other ones cannot be offered. A named offer has to have a unique name. You have to specify the discount type, whether it's a named offer or discretionary. A named offer has to have a particular rate, discounted rate. A discretionary offer can have a rate, or it can be left at 0, which means its salesperson can offer a rate at order time. You can also specify an editions threshold, meaning that the offer is available if so many editions have been ordered. This publisher only has one tier, but you can specify multiple tiers and classify your editions into particular tiers. Tiers basically then allows you to have different pricing for different editions. Classifications are a very important concept in Capulus. You can classify your orders based on the characteristics of whether or not it's full revenue, whether it's a filler, whether it's giving you some partial revenue. The first thing when specifying a new classification is set the priority. Obviously, if it's full revenue classification, you want to make sure it has a higher priority than most anything else. Another thing to make sure is you set a selection limit. This tells Capulus how many ads you would like to select for this classification before it moves on to the next classification. Next, indicate whether it is a full revenue classification. This is important for data collection. Specify the pricing type. You then need to add the appropriate edition groups that apply to the classification. And lastly, you need to add the appropriate category groups. There is also classifications for text ads. You can also maintain ad types, ad sizes, and add rotation types. Let's move on to the Features and Fees tab. Maintain your feature offers here. Feature discounts. Service offers. Service discount offers. You can set an order cancel fee. Cancel fee discounts. Preferred placement rates and policy are also on this tab. You can choose between one of 4 different policies or charge no fee at all. You can specify a rate for each slot. Each display slot or each text slot. Also set a range of slots. You can set a range of both display slots or text slots. And you can set preferred placement discounts. There are 3 types of payment methods to administer: initial payments, balance payments, and monthly payments. Capulus supports 10 payment method types. One thing to note as you take a look at the monthly payment methods, cash is your payment method type to use for any payment method that does not require validation. We move on now to the Additions tab. The Additions sub-tab we've covered in a separate module. So let's move on to Edition groups. Edition groups are mostly for conveniently ordering editions into things like urban, rural, west, north, etc. However, they are important when defining a classification. Besides defining name, short name, and appearance order, you must also include editions into the editions group. Editions can be in more than one group. Capulus spends a lot of time reporting on issue ranges such as fill, load, revenue, and discount. As a publisher, you can redefine ranges and names for each of the thresholds. The one exception is your load rates. Moving on, you can administer your lead source types as well as your lead sources. The Publish tab deals with things directly related to how the publication will compose. On the Masthead sub-tab, You can control what the web address is, whether the email address will actually display or not, the phone number for the edition, as well as the format of the phone number and the format of the date and volume. The What's Happening subtab allows you to define the trailer text as well as defining the behavior of the What's Happening trailer image. There are three options for defining how the trailer image appears. Either it never appears, it always appears, or it appears only if there's not enough What's Happening events. Most publishers run a contest where readers can find the little guy or a little man or beans, etc. This is where you would specify this. The actual image that you would use would be arranged with your designer. Speaking of designers, this is where on the miscellaneous tab you would define your designers. The email subtab of the miscellaneous tab is where you'll define your defaults for the order confirmation email that is presented to the salesperson at the end of every order. After tweaking any setting, you can preview it to get an idea what it's going to look like to each salesperson at order time. The final sub-tab of the miscellaneous tab allows you to change the colors of your order statuses if you desire.